Welcome back to AM Northwest. Here now to show us simple techniques for sprucing up our handwritten notes and journals, we welcome back artist, educator, and author of several books, including Botanical Line Drawing, Peggy Dean. Great to see you again, Peggy.
Great to see you.
Okay, you are so very creative, and you
yes.
found ways. You say this is a real simple idea.
This is a really simple idea,
Okay.
and it's probably more well known if you've seen it with bullet journaling.
Oh, yeah.
And highlighters.
Right.
Highlighters are, there's so many styles that are so fun and so many colors they've come out with. We're just using markers today in lighter shades, which they could be darker shades because really it's more about how can we spruce up something that is otherwise a little mundane.
Yeah, well,
or
like
simple.
this notebook you have.
Right.
So great.
It's just like simple borders and ways that we can doodle and bring out our inner child that we used to doodle with, and then create something that's a little bit more aesthetically exciting,
Right.
if you will.
And you could also turn these into cards that you're sending somebody.
Yeah, cards, letters, handwritten letters.
Yeah.
It's really fun to do a little border around that because if you received a handwritten letter with
that would be so special.
It would be so fun.
Yeah.
And it would feel like there's a little extra thought
Right.
that goes into it. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know, it's for any age and it's just fun. So I thought we might throw one together.
Sure, you tell me what to do.
Together. So I would just grab 2 or 3 colors, and we're using a ruler because that way you can get a nice straight line should you choose to, but
Okay.
of course you don't need to. And then we're just going to do a line straight down, and then we can bring that over and go right next to it.
Okay.
It doesn't matter how large, because really, like you can see that I didn't even line these up, but that's the fun part is that you're literally doodling. So you're gonna go, for these markers, brush tips, you're gonna wanna use the sides of them.
Okay.
And you've probably seen chisel tip markers where they have that flat edge. You're gonna wanna use the flat edge like a highlighter would have.
Okay.
And that way, you are going to get that nice broad stroke with brush pens.
Oh, I see now.
You definitely don't need brush pens.
So like that?
Yeah, and then you can just put some colors together. And what I like to do the most with something like this is to add little doodles around the border. And I know that this is a very simple border, but it can be, you can really bring it to life because it's just like a color pop that's complementary to everything else. So if you were to then doodle around something like this, you can bring in an ink pen, and let's say you wanted it to disappear behind the border, part of the border at least, that you just created. You can kind of come over it and then tuck it behind and then bring it back through. So
oh, look at that.
It's just like, you
now
know,
look what I did. Here's the problem.
No.
Yes, look, it kind of like watercolors because it is water,
because
right?
of the ruler brought it over. But you know what though? That just adds to a fun technique.
Oh, there you go.
It does.
That was purposeful.
It was
everyone.
purposeful.
That
This was an
purposeful.
intentional creative decision.
Yes, okay.
Sometimes though you'll see this type of style, you know, in kind of a grid, and it almost looks like plaid. But I have seen it where, because these are water based, if they're not dry immediately, if you run another pen through, it pulls that color down. And that's an intentional choice.
Okay.
So this isn't wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take it. Okay, so now we're saying.
You're just kind of wrapping that, wrapping it around, and then you can go in and do something really simple, like a little loop, if you will, and these can act as leaves. So you do one at the end, and then one on each side, and then you can carry that through on all the visible areas, right? And then it can have a little peekaboo, and then it will, when it tucks behind, it's going to kind of give the illusion of wrapping.
I see.
So see how it's a very simple finish, but if you have a border like this, or even a half border like this, if I brought this down, I know that's not a straight line. I'm not talented in a straight line.
Oh, neither am I. That's why we're using the ruler.
That's why we're using the ruler.
Yeah.
But I think it's part of the charm. Hand drawn. So something even like this, and then you can go in and continue on and write your letter, even something so simple, without having to go
Oh, I see.
wild and crazy.
Okay.
But the other thing that I really like about this kind of, speaking about the grid,
Okay.
if you were to do something where it had a few lines through, and this could adorn like the corner of what you're working on, and then instead of using the side, you're kind of using the tip now and dragging through the open space. I mean, really, this is just like ideas for doodling, to be honest with you. And it's just one of those fun why nots, and then you can go in and put in like leaves or little stars, and that's just a corner.
When you travel, do you do this kind of creativity when you travel?
I do with travel journaling.
Okay.
And I've been on the show, we've talked about travel journaling.
Yeah,
in
we
the
have,
past.
yeah.
And this type of border is so simple because you want a travel journal to look exciting and engaging. And so if you have like a corner, let's say you have a photo, and then a little snippet on what you did, having a corner and being able to fill it with something that is a little bit more, you bring it to life a little bit more, it makes it more engaging when you're flipping through. It's kind of like the DIY alternative to scrapbooking.
Okay, I was going to ask you that because it's
Yeah.
very much like scrapbooking.
Right,
But you're putting it right on there yourself.
right, and you have like 3 tools that you can travel
Right.
with instead of having the fiber and the paper
Right.
cutouts and the stickers and all of that. I love a good sticker, but I love
Yeah.
a good sticker. But something like this, even
That's fun.
as like a background, right?
Right.
So I drew stars first, and
Okay.
they're not perfect stars by
No,
design.
but that's the cuteness of it.
Right, and then you just kind of draw in a blob. But see, this is what I'm talking about. Just
Yeah.
something that's like a little bit of a filler, and it creates this interest. And really, you're just using markers to your advantage. You can even use the sides of markers, and if you just set it down like this, you see how that kind of
Yeah.
creates this type of shape.
Leaf, yeah,
So
absolutely.
you could do that along a stem,
I
right?
see, yeah.
And then that
Okay.
also is a way.
I have fun ideas. Thank you so much, Peggy Dean. The book again is Botanical Line Drawing. We're going to put information on our website at katu.com. Thank you so much.
My
That was great.
pleasure.
All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.